Hello, YouTube and Facebook friends. I like to talk about different things, and I like to sing and do different things on my video feed. I see stuff like this around here all the time that I'm about to show you, and I do believe in Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Scootum, whatever you want to call him. So I'm going to turn the lens around, and I'm looking at this right here. See that? Looks like a Sasquatch footprint. I can even make out the toe up here. And it's that shape you've seen on shows on TV. But I see this all the time, up at the front of the driveway and everywhere. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. I find it interesting. That is so odd. But, this is some of the things I ponder when I walk up and down my driveway like it's a racetrack, because it's the safest place for me to get exercise on a regular basis, to trim down for the summer, to keep my health good. I mean, and then, my thoughts are, is this how my life is going to end here, walking up and down the driveway, still being alone and the unloved? But I notice stuff like that all the time around here. And obviously, because I practice magic, I believe in the supernatural, and I believe in cryptids and so forth. So, what's on my mind today is a lot of the political things that are going on. This war that has begun, and my heart is breaking for all of these young people who are sent over to fight. And I have some cousins that are in the Air Force and so forth. And I blame my aunt for voting to put this regime in power. And this is her grandsons. And she's also very prejudiced, and her grandson's wife is Hispanic. And, it's just heartbreaking to me, and I'm scared to death that my younger cousins could be killed in this war. I mean, they could be. I'm also scared to death that the world's going to end from nuclear war. I mean, I'm seeing in news reports that they are bombing their nuclear plants and so forth, and that does damage to the lands for what, I think it's like 10,000 years. And this is in line with some of the visions I've had and things that show me the future and warn me about stuff like the concentration camps before they happen, I keep saying. So, I wonder again, how much time do I have left to find love? How much time do I have left to have any semblance of a life? Oh, and here's another one of these, segueing back to the Bigfoot subject, footprints. I gotta show you this. Now here's another one. Now, right in here, along here, and down and around this way. I don't know. I see stuff like this all the time around here when I'm walking, and I'm always thinking, could that possibly be what I think it is? I remember when my dad was living, we were sitting in the living room, and something walked past the back side of the house, past the window, and we heard this rumbling growl. It kind of scared us. But another thing, I guess those footprints could be because they say there's black bears now in the area I live. I know I've seen some rather large wolves, and I've seen coyotes and many raccoons. But I always wonder when I see that stuff, could that be what I think it is? Just something, an interesting topic. But segueing back to the topic of the political thing, and I still have to ask, why isn't Congress doing its job? Um, there's just no excuse. Children are dying, young people are dying. None of this should be happening. Democracy is gone, and is it ever going to be the same again? I don't know. All I can do is pray and cast spells to raise love and vanquish evil. That's all I do, day in and day out. There's been talks of people getting together and having what they call a blackout, where nobody works, nobody pays taxes, nobody buys anything. But people don't seem to really get on board with that, and things just keep getting worse, in my opinion. And again, and I've known for some time back, maybe a couple years, that the Orange Man is dying. He's not well. His health is fleeting. And I've said this before. And it's coming out into the public eye more and more now. What is wrong with these people? Why are they so full of hate that they want to exact it on to the rest of us? Why do they have this need to use God for such evil and to try to control what other people do, who other people are? I just don't even know. I can't understand it. I just can't understand it. I grew up with this kind of hate all my life. It's not that things are much different. And I have never understood, by any means, have I ever understood what is the deal with hating black and brown people. What is the deal? I mean, people are people. What's going on? What is wrong with you people? Why are you so mean? And how can you allow this war to be and just watch children and someone's mother, father, brother, sister, grandparents be blown to smithereens and killed and not even care? But I will say this, you're all older people. No one lives forever. And if there's any reason for someone to be going to hell, these kind of actions would seem likely to me, although God forgives what we can't. But I don't know. You're just letting people die for your own greed, it seems like. Like this is a war about oil and about money and stock markets, and it's not a war that is about regime change. And if you ask me, regime change needs to happen in the United States, which I can't even believe I have to say that, because there are Nazis in mask killing people, injuring people, busting out windows, dragging them out of cars. And I saw, it's an American Horror Story, that's what it is. It is an absolute American horror story. I can't believe that millions and millions of people voted this in. Many say that the election was finagled. Some say absolutely not, no way that could happen. I know that psychically, the night that vote went down, my mom said, "Don't you believe Kamala Harris is going to win?" And I said, "Mom, I don't. I believe somebody's going to cheat." And sure enough, And I didn't sleep all night. I was so upset because I knew what was coming, and it's all come to fruition, except for what we're heading for now. And I hope I'm wrong, and that is this world being blown up and there being nothing left. And if they've already started bombing power plants in Iran, well, and we've all seen Vladimir Putin threatening to blow up power plants, nuclear facilities in Ukraine. And we all have heard that Vladimir Putin is doing something to harm American soldiers with Iran. That's what I've heard from news reports. So, we're seeing the Russia thing right before all of our eyes, as another newscaster said. I don't understand why this president doesn't want to leave a legacy of amazingness by showing kindness and stopping wars and hate, instead of the opposite things that are going on that's making everybody dislike and hate this president. I mean, we just had a No Kings protest, and I heard there were some things that happened in that where police attacked civilians, which are supposed to be able to protest for free or say what you want. But it seems that democracy is absolutely gone. It is dead. So, I don't know. I really don't know. All I do know is I only have so much time left to find someone to love, to be the life I want to be. And there is many chaotic things going on that may spoil my chances forever. So I am trying to stay out of trouble. But I do like to have my say, and I grew up free. Although I don't think I have to be very nasty about it. Just express my fears. Because I've evolved a lot in my lifetime from the experience of what I've been through. But anyhow, I thank you for listening to me, and I love you all. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend to weekend.